Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sauropod Squad channel. Here on the channel, our theme is dinosaurs, but our passion is for a variety of games. Now, if that's your vibe, then welcome. You have found your herd. Now, everybody, we're rolling out of the monorail here into the lab, because I want to show you guys a little bit of work that I've done. I haven't played as much over the weekend, because I was playing a lot of Borderlands 4. Count me guilty. It is what it is. But I've been running the fossil machine downstairs, trying to get our Stegosaurus and a Brachiosaurus for today's exhibits. Unfortunately, did not find a Brachiosaurus, but I did find a Stegosaurus. So let's go ahead and start the episode off first and foremost, and let's get another Stego. Now, there is a little bit of upkeeping that I have done. You guys might have noticed that we've got a bit of a dryo problem. It's not really a problem, actually, per se. It's just that they are breeding constantly. So what I have finally decided to do is I went in and I turned off breeding. I went to the config files and, well, actually, I didn't turn breeding off. What I did is I turned on animals drop, or what do they call it? It was dinosaurs drop eggs like chickens, I think. What's the exact wording? And I turned that on. So basically, if I run around here, we might get lucky and find a dropped egg. But I needed to do this because now that we have the Ceratos and the Dilos that are growing, and I'll go show you guys those guys in just a minute. They're a little bit older, but not too much. They're still kind of babies. But I didn't want their breeding to get out of hand. And so I think with these guys dropping eggs instead of just breeding and having a baby spawn, it's going to really help the population of the park and allow it so I can manage it a little bit myself instead of just having it go crazy, right? Okay, I ran around for a few minutes to look for a dropped egg, but I did not actually find one. But I want to show you guys this. When I made the change, I ran around to see if it was going to work. And you might have noticed when I ran by this just a minute ago, but we have the first egg, the first dryo egg of a new era. And that new era is the egg dropping era, right? Where they're not going to go out of control. It's going to, like I said, it's going to allow myself to manage our park population a little bit better, which is exciting. But I think it is finally time. Let's go ahead and grab the Stego egg and run it in here and hatch a little Stego. Now, if this is a female, I think I'm going to name her Esmeralda. It was one of the suggestions from you guys. And you also said that it's kind of like a built-in cheat code in a way where it will give the Stego a special skin, which is kind of cool. No idea. I didn't do any fact checking, so I have no idea if this comment is right. I'm going to assume and trust that it is. Either way, it's a good name. And if it's a male, I think we're going to have to go with Stego Steve, which is the name of my Path of Titans Stegosaurus. And so here's Jitterbug. Jitterbug, we're going to get you either a mate or a friend. And we'll hatch you right here. Add some torches for now. And let the waiting game begin. Ow, 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 Jill, chill. Ow, what did I do to you, Jill? What did I do to you, dude? Why are these dryos so aggressive sometimes for no reason? Jeez. I didn't do anything, man. Eat your food. Jill, it's right here. Eat this. Eat this. Ah, you. Yeah, what are you gonna do now, Jill? Huh? Huh? Can't get through that, can you? Jerk. Alright, well, since we have an aggressive dryo for absolutely no reason, I think what's happening is they get to the moment where they're really hungry, and if I'm in the area, they will trigger attacking before they try to go get food, and then they just run around and chase me until I get out of their aggro range, and only then will they then decide it's time to eat. But fine, we will watch from up here since she is so touchy today. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's kind of like glowing, like a Pokemon evolution. What the heck? It's special. All right, we are going to have to jump in there. So hopefully, is that Jill? I think that's Jill. An egg has hatched. Are you going to fight me? We cool in here? Okay. Little Stego. Who do we get? We got a male Stego Steve. What's up? Alright, let's go ahead, even though it's raining once again. Put our name tag in there. And get Stego Steve, his name. Alright, little guy. Welcome to the world. Happy to see you get big, and hopefully we can find some Stego eggs to get this Stego family up and running. Alright, I'm washing you, Jill. I'm washing you. You're on the naughty list today. Oh, scary. Okay, guys. Chaos in the Dryo and Stego exhibit kind of put to the side for now. Let's turn our attention to the main goal today, which I am extremely excited for. We might not have a Brachiosaurus, but we can get a pair of Diplos up in here. And finally, we can have an exhibit that is going to surround our visitor center. Now, the reality is I haven't been in the visitor center too much recently because now that my backpacks have gotten so big, I don't even need to use our old chest room. And I haven't gone upstairs to use the old mini lab because we've got a whole brand new lab building up here. So the reality is I haven't really used this too much, but I would love to go back and finish, updating the map down there. Continually updated as the park expands, and get the bottom here to be like a little bit of a museum. It'd be cool if we get some fossils and stuff, but specifically like this map, it needs to be updated, right? It doesn't even have the roads here, doesn't have any exhibits over here, so yeah. I would love to kind of update that, maybe in today's episode, but maybe I'll just wait until we've got the whole Jurassic Park section complete. But today's goal is to really just beautify this area. Now, the good thing is I've kind of been just doing that naturally as we have lived here in the park, right? Like the Sauropod exhibit has been kind of the centerpiece here in the Jurassic section, even when it's not built. You might have noticed throughout the episodes, I've got all these cobbled deep slate blocks down, and these are to kind of show off where I want the wall to be, right? So the wall is going to connect directly up to the dryo wall here. It's going to run out this way. It's going to use this wall. And what's cool about the sauropods is they're peaceful, right? Or maybe they won't be like the dryos and they'll get aggressive every now and then, stomp on a guest's head. But until that happens, we're going to consider it peaceful. But yeah, I'm going to need to get the wall to kind of go along here. Let me hop into spectator mode. I need to kind of mirror something like this. It'll be a different wall design, but it's going to have the same idea where it gets to one level and it flattens out, and then everything underneath I'll just kind of anchor with with dirt. And I think that'll look pretty good. So that's going to run kind of along here, and my goal is to get the wall to be a little bit lower. What I don't want is the view from the other side. I don't want to block the view of the visitor center, right? I like this thing. It's our house. It's our main build, and I don't want it to be just blocked by a big wall of cobblestone. So it'll be at least this low starting, but yeah, I don't want the top to be much higher than this, really, so it's going to be kind of down the hill. I also need to do a little bit of research. I don't think the Diplodocus and the Brachiosaurus can knock down our walls, right? Like some dinosaurs, like our T-Rex, can, which is why I had to work so hard in the first few episodes to get this reinforced glass, which is essentially unbreakable blocks for Chomper here, who is doing well, by the way. Doing all right. I mean, he's still kind of, he's still kind of tormented and traumatized by all the chickens, which, by the way, broke. At some point, this stopped working, and I went in here and I tried to fix it, and I don't know why. I think when I took the server off of online and brought it to single player, it messed up some of the redstone, and anyway, I can't get it to work again. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter because we've got the new giant food warehouse way over there. But coming back over here for the Sauropod exhibit, like I said, most of it is already kind of done, right? We already have this forest section, which doesn't really need much work. I would love to come back through here and hide the torches like I have in all the other exhibits that are considered complete. But this area is it's really meant to be like a thick redwood forest, right? That's the whole point of this area. And so not too much is going to change over here. We really just need to get the wall up and running. But then in this middle section here, I would love to have this section feel very similar to what we did over in this exhibit, where it's like got a lot of cattails and a lot of lily pads and, you know, some bamboo, and it feels very lush, right? I want it to feel very, very lush. Here's our Dimorphodon, by the way, who is all grown up and has a little bit of blue coloration, so that's pretty cool. We will be naming these guys towards the end of the episode, since we got a bunch of other babies. And while we're flying around, might as well show you guys. We've got these guys growing up as well. That's Bully. Got these two, yeah, the two girls. They're growing up. They're getting bigger, which is nice to see. And then, of course, over here we've got our big pack of Dilos, which is pretty cool. Check it out. The males have a huge like crest at the top of their head for coloration, so that is really cool to see. So yeah, the real goal for this episode is just to kind of beautify what we've already done, right? I've already got the river going, but I would love to make it look a little bit nicer with some plant work and stuff. And then I want this to be like an open field, so it's going to be very similar to the Dryo exhibit in that regard, out here in the middle. And then the water, like I said, is going to be very, very similar to the Dimorphodon exhibit. So lots of stuff that we've already kind of seen. I just got to kind of bring it all together, and then at the very end, we will hatch up our Diplodocuses, and I might keep the lab running, but I don't have as much time this week to work, so I'm not sure if I will be able to get the Brachiosaurus up and running. If I'm honest, guys, it's just RNG. I'm just gambling with fossils at this point, hoping to get the one that I need. I could hop in creative, but where's the fun in that, right? So I think without further ado, we're just going to get right into it. Let's get into a bit of a wall time lapse. We'll get the wall up and running, and then I'll come back to you guys with a little bit more ideas at that point of what to do with the rest of the exhibit here. And today is just, it's a very simple episode. It's just building a sauropod exhibit. True and simple, but we got to get this squad up and running. All right, everybody, welcome back after the time lapse. So you know when I said I was going to do a different wall design? Yeah, I changed my mind. I mean, to be fair, it is actually a little bit different. I decided to use some andesite bars on the top that kind of looks like barbed wire, not like a crazy amount, but just a little bit that it gives the wall a little bit more depth. But I decided to kind of go with the same wall design as the Dilophosaurus exhibit, mainly because when you're out here, I was like, this would look a lot better if this was all uniform. And I hope you agree. I think it looks pretty dang good. It's simple, right? All it uses is the stone bricks and then the stone brick walls. But it does kind of look like, I don't know, like it's reinforced, right? It's got a bit of strength. So yeah, I've got the pillars, the vertical reinforcements, if you will, on both sides the whole way through. Which was pretty simple, honestly. Stone brick is it's kind of tedious to get, like everything in this game, but it's a lot easier than a lot of the stuff to gather. So that wasn't too bad, honestly, and I think it looks really good, especially when you're just kind of like in here in the forest. It adds just enough depth and just enough detail, right, on the roof of on the top of the wall here, to be interesting, I think. So I'm actually a big fan of it, and it looks pretty good. Now, since building the wall, I have run around and done a bit of work in the lab, mainly for the plants, because I really wanted to figure out which plants I want to work on in there. And on top of that, I was looking at this section of the wall when building the wall, and this is the part that dips down lower because of the river. And I think this is the perfect place to have a really large sauropod viewing platform. So if you imagine this section of the park, which again will eventually be pavement, right? I'm gonna have like nice paved roads with benches and lights and stuff like that, and actually it'll actually look like an amusement park, right, or a Jurassic Park, like a zoo. But if there's a little bit of an offshoot right here, maybe even like a statue or a fossil of a big sauropod right here, something cool to kind of guide your eye, and then you go up into an elevated platform, and when you would be kind of standing up there, and the platform itself does a little bit of a U shape, but you'd be up above looking over, kind of like when you feed giraffes at zoos. You can imagine that you're high enough that you're over the wall, but you're not so high that the sauropods couldn't just come right up and look at you, and you can feed them a tree star, right? So with that viewing platform in mind, next thing I needed to turn my attention to was all of these plants, right? So I've been running the plants up in the fossil room and got a few new ones. Now I haven't signed all of them. It takes a little bit of time to actually Google them and figure out what era they're from in our history. But I did get this guy. I got the Duisburgia, which is like a big fly trap looking thing almost. I really like it. We're going to be using that in the Sauropod exhibit. I also got Vicinium, which is like some sort of fruits, like berries, as well as Ephedra. These ones are interesting because they make berries when you bone meal them. So I can't get more of them unless I get seeds, but I can't get berries from them, so that's cool. We got Osmundia here as well, which is very similar to this guy here. Such which we used in the exhibit. I'm going to be using both this and the new one in the plains here, so that'll be pretty good. And then over here on this side, we got this guy, the I don't know, the bennies, which are also pretty good and look like very, very small palm trees. These are awesome, and I'll show you in just a bit. But I plan to use these heavily in our like new riparian zone in this exhibit. Then we got some new flowers. We got fuchsia and sarracenia, so a big red. I think they're actually kind of like fly traps, but the other one's just a pure like yellow looking thing. Now these two are cool because they're not really flowering plants. One's just like a weird looking yellow jungle plant, and the other one is like a red. They're like fleshy plants, right? So if we run back here, I've got a little bit of a preset up here on the Sauropod exhibit, a little bit of what I want the whole thing to look like. So let's get in there real quick. All right, so here is kind of what I'm thinking. I haven't picked the tree yet. It might just be some palm trees, honestly. Very, very minimal trees, like one or two or three total in this whole area. But this is kind of what I'm thinking. So as we get closer up here to the water, that's when you start seeing kind of like the more colorful stuff, a bunch of common reeds. I want it to be really, really thick by the water. Just tons and tons of plant life on both sides all the way around this and kind of up the hill. Because I feel like in real life, this kind of area right here, this landing, as well as down there, would be really, really wet, right? It's almost like a swamp. So we're going to be getting kind of all of this just in a big mess of a big flower pile, if you will, without being flowers, of course. a big prehistoric plant pile, let's call it that. And then as I get down here, kind of just in front of the house, I want it to be really, really simple. All it's going to be is elephant ears, osmunda, and the Saginopterus. I will try to keep as much normal basic Minecraft grass as I can, although I'm learning in the Dryo exhibit, the vegetarian, the herbivores, they seem to eat this no matter what, even if they're feeders nearby. If they see it and they're hungry, they'll eat it. So over time, these are all going to be gone. So I kind of want to add a little bit more and not rely on this. So we'll have them for now, and I think they look good when they're mixed in with everything else, but realistically, they're kind of doomed. So yeah, if I hop into Spectator here and kind of show you what the thought is, it's going to be very busy, right? It's going to have a lot to look at, I think. It's going to be a lot of green, but there's different shades of greens, and there's splashes of yellow and red and dark green even, with or even some like kind of brown with the cattails mixed in the middle. And then we'll get one or two palm trees to really make this place feel alive. And I think that combined with a really cool viewing platform up here will give the Sauropods exhibit kind of a fresh, cool spot to look at. You know what I mean? I think it's going to look good. That's the hope, at least. But I figured, well, since all I have to do now is mess with flowers, I'm not going to be doing any digging or any terrascaping. So I think it's safe to say it's time to get 2 little sauropods and watch them grow. Maybe they'll grow up during the time lapse, and you'll see different stages of growth as it takes me probably a few hours to really beautify this place. Planting all the plants isn't too bad. I specifically chose all of these because I can use bone meal to kind of build with and get a ton of them and then fill my inventory. So that's mainly why I chose this group of plants, because bone meal is nice. We've got tons of it because of the fossil machine. So pretty exciting. But first and foremost, let's hatch these little guys. Now, while these 2 start to hatch, I do have a name for at least one of them. I'm still thinking of the second one. Usually I like to ask you guys for names. However, this is going to be the first sauropod here on the Sauropod Squad in the Sauropod Park. So I feel like it's a bit of a special name. And I like to call kind of noteworthy and special members in the squad the captains. So this is going to be Captain. Oh, can't type. Captain, and then simply Captain Diplo. Here on the channel, we've had Captain Amar and a few of other captains here and there. But there they are. Awesome. Wow, they look really cool. They've got a lot of detail, honestly. They're so tiny, but they're already way bigger than the other ones. Okay, let's check the Dinopedia real quick. We've got a male and a female. Look at that. Breeding pair right off the bat. Well, sir, you're the one standing next to me. I think you're going to get the honors. Hello, Captain Diplo. Welcome to the squad. Alright guys, but as night falls, I'm going to get back to work. We're going to beautify this park, and I bet by the time this next time-lapse ends, this guy is going to be towering above us. Alright, let's get beautifying. All right, folks, welcome to the heavily foliaged sauropod exhibit. You can see, I think that's the unnamed female bouncing around over there. She's a little bit bigger, but obviously has a long way to go. Now, Diplodocuses aren't going to be as big as the brachio once we get the brachio in, but I'm hoping that this little viewing platform is tall enough so that their heads kind of peek over this spot. I think that'd be really cool. But I like this spot. It's under the monorail. It's got a good kind of like dip down view, and we could even have like info about sauropods here and there, sauropods in general, and that's also the brachio and the diplodocus. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I just kind of made a little meandering entrance right here. Just kind of looks messy, and I kind of like that. Again, it's, just kind of a random, like a random plank right here just sticking out. Sometimes uniformness in Minecraft looks bad, and sometimes you just do a little bit of a random, and I don't know. I like it. That might jump out to you as like totally wrong, but to me, it's perfectly incorrect. Now, I do have thoughts going forward, like I might be able to chunk this out and just put andesite bars, so it's kind of a viewing area down here. But I think I'm going to save that for when I come through here and really spend a lot of time upgrading the path, right? Also, your tail is a little bit out of the exhibit, sir. I want to put that back in there. Actually, hold on. I'm realizing Buddy is in the same spot that he was last time. He might actually be stuck. Let's go to bed on a dinosaur rescue real quick. See, these are the type of things I gotta do kind of often, and if he's hungry... Oh, yeah, he might be hungry. Okay, he is stuck. Let's go ahead and quickly get our Dinopedia. You gonna attack me? He is very hungry, yes, so he is probably going to attack as soon as I break this. Yep, run! Run! Oh, he ran. He went the other way. Okay, good. He went for food. Scary. Let's go double check. You cool, buddy? You cool? I think he's cool. But yeah, this exhibit has a few catch nets, just like that. Little spots that they fall in, and that's why I run around and I double check them every time. Good now, dude? Hunger 100. Nice. Good job, bully. I did make this at some point in the past few weeks. A little bit of an exit, which is nice. But as I was saying, eventually when we come back through it here and pave the whole Jurassic section and kind of spend some time, making it look lively with some benches and, hey, maybe even get some villagers to roam around and whatnot. I also snuck a new little door right down here. It's very discreet. I will add kind of some pathing, but it's very much just a keeper door. A little discreet one back in here to get into the back of the sauropod exhibit. And check it out, Captain Diplo. He is 3 years old. So he's still got a long way to go. All right, guys, I did also promise you guys that we're going to be naming some of the dinosaurs that we hatched out. So what I've gone ahead and I've added a bunch of the names that you guys have suggested in chests near some of the exhibits. So to be honest, just so I don't have to go digging through comment sections, I want just a big pile of names that you guys have suggested, and then I can come through here and pick the ones that I like for the new dinosaurs that we get. So we got 2 new females, so I think we're going to grab a queen, and we're probably going to grab... Let's grab Cookie. I like Queen and Cookie. Looks like our girls are still sleeping up there. I hope they're not stuck up there. The Ceratosaurus exhibit might be a little bit too crazy for them sometimes. How you guys doing? Oh, they're fine. All right, you're going to be Queen. And you are going to be Cookie. Queen and Cookie. Look at that. Now over here in the Dimetrodon, we've got Eclipse, Comet, Gale, and Flux. We do have a new male, so I think I'm gonna let's grab Flux. Right there he is. What up, Flux? Glad to give you a name. And for the Dilos, we've got Agro, got Camille, we've got Amelia, and Dennis Jr. Very convenient for them all to be sleeping right here for me to do that. Thanks, guys. That was handy. And now all that leaves left to name in the park is our last female Diplodocus, and I'm going to leave that up to you guys. I think we're going to call the episode here. Yeah, I have fourth wall break. It is late Thursday night, and like I said, I'm dedicated to getting these out to you guys on Friday. I know if you're watching in the future, this doesn't matter at all, but right now I'm on the time. I'm on time crunch, so I'm going to end the episode here, get picking a cool, fun song that you guys have already heard. You don't care. It's in the past for you guys. But anyway, without rambling too much, guys, I'm going to let this episode end. I'm so glad to have actual sauropods here with us at the Sauropod Squad actual house. It feels really cool to finally see it all come together and actually live with the sauropods here in the Sauropod Squad. Gotta love it. All right, folks, but for me and the unnamed Diplodocus behind me, I hope you guys have a good rest of your morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. But until next time, peace out.